Up next on Inside ChampCar, chasing trophies at Autobahn and Willow. And welcome to Inside ChampCar. He is Bill Strong. I am Brian Bielanski. This week on the show, 2 tracks, 4 days, 29 hours of racing, and 2 dead voices. That basically sums it up. How you doing, Bill? Exactly.
Yeah, I have lost my voice. It was, it was pretty, whose idea was it to do a radio show?
I think
Me.
Kind of yours.
Yeah.
I kind of put it out there that I could show up, and you went, let's do a radio show. And I'm like, for how long? But it
16 hours of, it did. It was pretty cool. I actually listened to some of it. Yeah, we sounded awesome.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
It was fun.
We had a little bit of a bandwidth issue, but other than that, it worked. A few things I'd fix, but and I actually did this week, or tonight.
Exactly.
So we're going to go back to doing. Brian actually helped me figure out a way to do pit lane reporting with today's technology, and we tried it out at Willow Springs. Seemed to work okay, so I ordered it, and it should be here Friday. So I'll have it for Sebring, ready to go.
Nice, nice. So let's talk about Willow first. We had 9 cars on Saturday and 7 cars on Sunday. We had a little attrition, but a great race weekend, and everybody seemed to have fun, right?
It was amazing. Every time I went down pit lane or talked to somebody, they were just like so excited to be there racing. Even though the field wasn't all that big, they were out there having fun racing. And one of the things the guys told me was, there's not a lot of cars here. I would never normally win something. I might win something. And that was pretty cool to hear the excitement. And, they're just pushing, trying to get something. So
there's 2 ways to think about it. I might not choose to go because there aren't a lot of cars, or I'm going to choose to go because there aren't a lot of cars.
Well, that's how you can get into the national championship.
Yeah.
All you got, it doesn't matter how many cars are in the race, man. Just get up there and get on the podium and get some points.
There you go.
So.
And we had some interesting fuel strategies. We talked about ad nauseum over the course of 15 hours. But, some guys decided to just put their foot in it and see if they can get to the end first. And then another car decided, we're going to try to, be a little slower on Saturday and skip a pit stop. And it almost worked for them if it weren't for a final full course caution.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. And I think that Mustang may have run out of fuel if we hadn't gone to a caution, and the results would have been way different with Team Honda winning the Sunday race, I think. But they ended up finishing second and still pretty darn good.
Yeah, they
were excited about it. They're headed to the VIR 24 in August, trying to attempt to do that race again. Last time they did it, the Honda Fit they had kind of got smaller.
Right. So,
more compact.
Our Saturday results: Roto Pluker Racing was your race winner. Team Honda Research came in second. Zoom Kaboom was third. Petroholic Racing fourth. And this is the last time I'm going to say it. Nuckin Futz Racing was fifth. I got the whole weekend without messing that up, and then we got to the pit lane, and everyone's dropping F-bombs. So after the race on Sunday, it was very funny. Anyway,
but luckily our internet connection went away, so nobody heard anything.
Renegade Motorsports finished sixth. Those were the guys from Bakersfield Community College, and with a Chevy Cavalier, and for gosh darn sake, they finished both days. Congratulations!
And it was an automatic.
Yes, there you go. Holland Oates, my favorite name of the race weekend. They were seventh, and then Tangerine Dream finished eighth. And then if I run through Sunday real fast, I can go through. This is the 7-hour enduro. The Petroholic Racing Ford Mustang hung on. I don't know if that rear end problem was as bad as they told us at that first pit stop.
I think they were fibbing.
I might think so too. Team Honda Research second, Zoom Kaboom third, Roto Pluker fourth, Renegade Motorsports again finishing on Sunday fifth, Tangerine Dream sixth, and then Fetterhund Motorsports came out, got a couple laps in, so they became the C-Class winners, and they finished seventh. So good for them.
Yep, with only one gear. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Fourth, I think it was, yeah.
All right.
And then we go to Autobahn.
Yep.
And we had a couple of issues with a red flag where a car caught on fire and the engine blew up and boom, the world ended for that moment in time.
Right.
But after the cleanup, went back to racing, and you have the results there because I don't have a computer up right now.
I do, yeah. I'll just run through the top 5 on Saturday and the top 5 on Sunday since we're we got a lot of great interview coming up ahead. Premium Dudes was your winner on Saturday, BMW 325 IS. There's no Z in Mazda. Finished second. Dirt E30 Racing was third. Two Brothers Racing fourth, and TR Motorsports. That's the Tire Rack Motorsports team. They finished fifth. Here's a super big hint. They are our interview coming up after the break. Moving on to Sunday, our 7-hour on Sunday. Your winner, Dirt E30 Racing. Winkler, not the Fonz, but I just always think it's the Fonz. Winkler Motorsports, second. Wouldn't it be cool if it was the Fonz? Silver Martini Racing third, 45th Parallel Motorsports fourth, and There's No Z in Mazda finished fifth.
Well, Premium Dudes from the Saturday winner, that's a BMW with a Honda engine.
Oh,
one of those K something or another's. And Dirty 30, that was their first win.
Fantastic! Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very cool. So and we got in touch with Chelsea a couple of times during our broadcast on Saturday and Sunday, and
she said stop bugging us.
They had good weather for what it could be. It could be hot and humid. It wasn't too bad, and sounds like they had good clean racing.
Yeah. Don't call Chelsea and ask her to reverse the charges. She doesn't like that.
We called Chelsea, and the first thing she said was, "Bill, I don't have enough money. I don't have bond money for you." And
yes.
Wow. Is there stories I should know? Must be stories I should know. So, all right, real quick before we head to break, you had mentioned that we've got some news about the VIR 24.
Oh yeah, we got some.
What do we know?
It looks like Bill Riley and Ben Keating are vacationing at VIR that weekend.
Just happened to be in town.
After taking away some hardware at 24 Hours of Le Mans, Ben Keating is bringing his crew guys out from Texas. He had a Honda last year. I think this year's a Honda, and he's got a different car as well.
Okay.
But they're coming out to race the 24, and Riley will be there with the Corvette.
Nice. That's a ton of fun.
Yep.
Anything else before we head out?
Nah, I just want to stop talking.
Well, then let's do that. All right, we're going to head to break. When we come back, our guests are Bob Kobayashi and TJ Campbell from Tire Rack, talking about their races past weekend and some of the really cool stuff they get to do with Tire Rack. That's next on Inside ChampCar. Stay with us.
Every race weekend, you don't know what's going to happen. But with ChampCar.live, all the action comes right into your living room. The ChampCar Endurance Series is North America's home to real competitive endurance road racing. And ChampCar.live brings you live, full race coverage with in-car, trackside cameras, interviews, and expert commentary. And ChampCar.live brings you live, full race coverage with in-car and trackside cameras, interviews, and expert commentary. Check out ChampCar.live on the web, subscribe, and ring the bell so as not to miss a single minute of the action. It's fun, free, informative, and it's just a click away. ChampCar.live. Come check us out. We bring you a front row seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Welcome back to Inside ChampCar. I'm Brian Bielanski along with Bill Strong. Joining us right now, two guys who have maybe the dream job for gearheads, or one of them, if not nothing else. These guys work for Tire Rack, and they've got some really cool stuff that we're going to talk about. Bob Kobayashi, TJ Campbell, welcome to Inside ChampCar.
Hey guys, thank you so much. Happy to be here.
All right, so we were going to talk to you guys last week, but I understand you were wrenching on a car trying to get ready to go to Autobahn Speedway, and let's start with that. How did your trip at Autobahn go? Talk about that just a little bit.
Well, we can actually talk about what was going on before that. It was a mad dash to get the car done.
What's the car? What kind of car?
'93 BMW 318 IS.
Okay.
And it's a 4-cylinder, right?
Yes, it's a 4-cylinder.
Okay.
Small motor.
Yep. Big tank, small motor.
Bronze it is the actual.
Oh, okay. Cashmere beige metallic, I believe.
That's it. Yeah, that's the exact technical name is cashmere beige.
Nice.
It's a gorgeous color, though.
I think
it really is.
It was only made that 1 year.
Cool.
But you combine it with your decals and stuff, it looks really good.
Yeah, we had a couple ladies in our print design and marketing, I think, came up with that. We told them, get creative, have a few drinks, and see what you can do.
I'm surprised it didn't turn out chartreuse.
We didn't tell them to get that crazy.
Yeah. Had to be the Tire Rack corporate colors, right?
Right.
Black, white, red. So.
But actually, too, you said it was, I brought up it was a mad dash to get the car done. Well, help me here. It was September of 21 at Mid-Ohio, we lost the motor.
Oh, yeah.
So, car sat till winter, got cold, nothing to do. Well, then, it's trying to build a motor that's almost 30 years old. So you're trying to find parts and things and put it back together, fresh build, and then try to tune a motor that nobody's touched in almost 30 years. So that was the mad dash at the end to get it ready for Autobahn, was to get the thing tuned.
So did you rebuild that motor, or did you find a donor and start from that way?
Oh, I used one of the few donors I have in my collection.
Okay.
Bob is an E36 porter,
also
an E36 expert. So he has all the spares that you could possibly need to build multiple engines. And he is our primary mechanic, primary engine builder, suspension tuner. So we, the rest of the team, we try to help as much as we can, but most of the time it's just Bob after work doing it when he can. And usually it's just kind of a leave me alone, I know what I'm doing sort of thing. So when Bob is talking about the mad dash, it's really just Bob primarily that's doing all of this work, which of course the rest of our team is very appreciative of.
Yeah.
So Bob, you had the mad dash on the car. You dialed in your 14 degrees of camber on all 4 wheels and 0 toe and a whole bit.
Yeah. Yep.
And so you guys arrived at the track. Saturday's race looked like you guys are in the top 5 for most of the day. Or somewhere up there.
No, actually, before that, I got a great story going through tech.
Oh, okay.
We go through tech. Race great guy. We're joking around with car goes through tech, no problem. I did have to update my tech sheet for some reason. It didn't save the new points thing. Anyways, got that all straightened out. Get through tech. And then we had some last minute things to finish up on the car, clean up some wiring, just miscellaneous stuff. And about 2 hours after tech, a group of guys walk over from, I don't even remember what team. And it was the craziest thing. It's like rumors are spreading through the paddock about this motor you have. And it's like, oh, yes, it's got 8 injectors and 14 throttle bodies and this and that. And I'm like, no.
Rumor mill gets a running, and next thing you know,
and I wasn't there. I'm normally the guy doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thanks for that, by the way, Bill.
Yeah.
So, how did you survive the tech shed with all of those rumors?
I actually did. It was going through tech was easy. It was
good.
the aftermath. So we were joking that so that was late Friday. So we're getting everything all set up, get the pit all set up. And then I was laughing and joking with the guys saying that let's see what happens by Saturday morning. It's going to be a BMW Brabham F1 turbo engine with 1,500 horsepower. And
that's funny.
Nice.
Just rumors in the paddock,
Nice.
But actually the race went well. Let's see. We by luck of the draw, we started 3rd from last, I think.
Okay.
That sounds right.
3rd or 4th from last. And then if you actually look at the speed hive results or my laps, whatever.
Yeah.
it shows that when we completed the first lap, we were 15th or 14th.
Okay.
Or something like that. And I drove first. And I don't even remember how, when, or where I passed that many cars in one lap. Like, okay, if you say I'm there, I'll take your word for it.
I don't know, Bob. I've been behind you. You probably had more injectors than everybody else in the race.
It was.
I'm not gonna admit to anything.
It was the nitrous I heard about.
The nitrous, yeah.
Oh no, that's how we check the roll cage for cracks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's pressurized with nitrous. Yeah.
Got a leak. There's none left.
Yeah. It must have leaked into the intake manifold or something.
Yes, exactly.
Wait. Yeah. I think I just heard Ray groaning about something. Wait. What?
Yeah. Don't try this at home, racers.
Nice.
Yeah, this is not a how-to or a tutorial.
Yeah. All right. So you guys didn't have to change tires about every 5 laps, and you went the whole race. And what'd you finish up at?
5th.
Yay! Nice.
5th overall, first in class, which was quite good for us. Although with the new motor, our new build, we quickly found out that we don't have the fuel mileage we used to.
Okay.
I guess people were blaming that on my good or bad tuning. I'm not sure which.
No, it's all those extra injectors.
Oh yeah. It's those 8 extra injectors. Yeah.
That's why it runs rich, Bob, because you have 8 injectors for 4 cylinders. What are you doing? It's twice as much fuel as we actually need.
Say it looked like a diesel going down the front straightaway, but in fact it was just gas, unburnt fuel.
Yeah.
Phone call, absolutely.
No, we were in contention for fighting for 4th with I don't know a half hour left in the race, and the guys were just turn him loose, and I'm like, he's not going to make it on fuel. And sure enough, like 5 minutes left in the race, and the reserve light comes on, and I'm like, he's got to conserve.
So how many laps do you have when the conserve light comes on? Was that a trade secret?
I think we went 5 or 7 laps, something like that.
Wait a second. As you cross the finish line, did you still have fuel?
Yes,
that's
barely.
all that matters.
Right.
That's all that matters.
Our own power.
Yeah. They can tow you back to the pit. Doesn't matter as long as you cross the finish line under power.
That's exactly what I told Chris. He said you have to be running and cross the finish line. After that, you can park it.
Yep.
So how many sets of tires do the Tire Rack guys use in a 7-hour race?
Just one.
Just one.
Just one.
Okay. So remember that answer, because I'm going to come back to that answer later in the broadcast.
All right.
Okay, you're going to hold us to it.
No. It's going to lead to a question down the road. So.
Okay.
I'm excited.
All right, Sunday. All right. Let's talk about Sunday. Or should we not talk about Sunday?
Sunday.
Oh, wait. But we have to, TJ, you got to tell them about what tire we were on, though.
We run the
Sumitomo HTR4.
Yeah. So advanced. Yeah. No, we run the new Potenza, Bridgestone Potenza RE71 RS.
Okay.
Our tire model of course now. And so
that's a new one, right?
It is. Yes. Yeah. It just launched this year. Barely squeaked in under that certain deadline that is for a certain other sanctioning body of
you can say
racing enthusiasts. That April 30th cutoff for SCCA Solo National. It barely squeaked in, but it made it in time.
Nice.
So it's just a couple months old at this point, at least in our market.
Right.
So we're still on a learning curve on the tire. We're trying to figure out what kind of pressure to run in it. Do I need more camber? Do I need less camber? It's a whole new tire.
Whatever.
Well, how do you do that? That's what I want to know, is how do you figure all that out?
Well, that was going to be the latter part of the questioning.
Oh, okay.
Let's get through Sunday first.
Let's go through Sunday.
But whatever pressure you run, you walk through the paddock on Sunday morning and go, all right, let's make sure everything's set at 12 PSI all the way around.
Yeah.
That's what you say out loud as you're walking through the paddock, right?
45.
45.
Yeah, 45.
45 cold.
45 all the way around.
Oh my God.
Whatever the maximum number on the sidewall is, that's absolutely
right. Hey,
exactly.
Don't laugh. That's what I did back in 1985, the first autocross I ever did. The guy told me to set it at a certain, I think it was like 27 or something, or maybe it might have been 28, 29 PSI on some Yokohama A008s.
Yeah.
Put him down much lower. It's like, wow, that's a faster tire.
Yeah, so I would tell people I run like 45 on the front left and the right rear, and then 42 on the left front and the right rear. So yeah, good.
Well, that's what the Prius guys do. Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Works for them.
Hey, all right. Make fun of Prius guys. They might be listening.
Oh, sorry.
Come on now. So Sunday, how did Sunday go? Let's. You guys did it pretty good on Saturday with that new motor. What happened on Sunday?
The field flipped, so we were third or fourth from the front.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fifth from the front, something like that. But I guess everybody else got faster, and we got a little slower. Wrong tire pressure. Like I said, we're still trying to learn it, and didn't have the same pace in the morning.
Got it. Weather conditions the same both days, pretty much.
Oh wait, were you using the same tire as the day before, or new ones?
It's a new set of the same.
Oh, okay,
right. Okay,
yeah.
We increased the pressure a little bit. We were chasing wear, honestly, and we gave up a little bit of speed in the process, which can be one of the trade-offs that competitors have to deal with. So we increased our pressures, our cold pressures by 3 PSI?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and our first driver, Chris Harvey, wasn't particularly pleased with that decision.
yeah, we found out the hard way.
So
I don't know if we went the wrong direction or we just went too far, but it was something was wrong.
So the radio chatter wasn't pretty.
It's always animated.
Yeah. It's a lot quieter when everything's going well than when you screw something up. So it wasn't great, and we bled down pressures after that first stint, and things were going well. We were running second overall and first in class, and we were Bob, maybe 4.5 hours in, 4 hours and 45 minutes in, maybe.
Yes.
7 hour race.
Did I drive? Yeah, I drove second.
You drove second. Yep.
I drove second, and I had an epic battle with I can't remember the Miata team. Great guys.
Nosy and Mazda.
Yeah. One of the guy came over and talked to us after we broke, and just great guys. I mean,
Bob, you're giving it away.
Yeah.
You gave away the ending, buddy. Yeah.
It's like the Titanic. When they wanted me to go see the movie, I'm like, why do I want to go see this movie? I know how it ends.
Yeah, the ship sinks. That's where it goes. Yep. So Bob drove us up to the quiet hour and got us in a pretty good position. And then I went in afterward and was doing all right. We were like I said, we were second overall, first in class, and I'm noticing a little bit of a grinding sound. Sounds, it could maybe be some OPR that I've picked up. It's just a little bit of a vibration, a little bit of a grind. And I'm noticing it for quite a while. And eventually it gets to the point where I radio in and say, hey guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm getting some rotational grind. I can feel it in my feet. I can feel it in my hands. It's particularly bad when we make a right-hand turn. We also noticed that we had a CV shaft. The left rear CV shaft was leaking. It was spraying grease up on one of the control arms. So that's what I'm thinking is it's a CV shaft issue. This thing's finally given up the ghost. So I'm radioing in, talking, and they're like, if it fails, you're just going to lose power. So just keep driving as long as you feel comfortable. So okay, I do. And I end up at maybe an hour 45, maybe hour 40. I don't know exactly how long it was. And it gets to the point where it's severe. It is, I feel it all the time. I hear it all the time. And then at the end of the front straight, going into turn one, I don't have any brakes. My foot goes straight to the floor. So there's that moment and a quick pump. And fortunately it does get me slowed down enough to make that right-hand turn. And then I have to pump the brakes through every turn. And now I have a smell in addition to the sound and the feel. And so I'm talking to the guys and I'm like, hey, I'm about at my limit. And when I get about 3/4 of the way through the lap, it starts pulling either direction under braking. And then it starts pulling either direction under everything.
Anything.
It feels, it feels like the toe is just changing randomly and at will as I'm driving. And so I come in and, I pit and I stop, and there's just this big cloud of smoke coming from my front left wheel assembly. And,
broken hub?
Wheel bearing.
Okay.
Actually, the wheel bearing decided that it wanted to weld itself together. So,
nice.
At that point, we had 2 hours left. Our last driver, Woody Rogers was our last driver, and it was, Bob says, hey, I can replace it. It'll take 20 minutes or so you can get some seat time. But by that time, we would have been out of the running anyway. So we decided we all wanted to get home to our families earlier, and Woody graciously said that we would, sacrifice the seat time so we can just pack it up and head home.
Well, there you go.
That was it. That was the heartbreak at Autobahn on Sunday.
Heartbreak at Autobahn.
Yeah, that's like the worst feeling. That drive all the way home going, God, did I inspect those wheel bearings?
Well, now you know that the ones that are in there are going to be brand new. So,
yep.
And
they will be.
Yes, they will be brand new. Yes.
Like I said, Bob's our only mechanic, so he can get to it whenever he wants to.
Oh, sure.
Nobody's going to rush him.
Nice. All right, so let's get to the tire rack portion of all of this. You guys, what is your role? What are your roles at Tire Rack?
Bob, why don't you start with that?
Okay. Well, what is my role at Tire Rack? Well, let's see. Let me start by saying I was a customer for almost, trying to do the math in my head here, for almost 28 years, since 92. I can't do the math.
Okay.
Prior to working there, so knew lots of people there. We had a gentleman, Craig, that came from BBS. He was, quote, the wheel guy. He knew everything about wheels. And then his family decided to move back to the Atlanta area to go back to BBS.
Right.
And several people that knew me there started mentioning my name as a replacement. So a couple of the managers wanted to talk to me, and they brought me in. They talked to me and they said, well, and I started right away by saying, I'm not the wheel guy. I don't know wheels like the guy that's leaving. And they said, well, we don't want you to do that. We want you to build a CAD database of wheels and cars. And I said, oh, I can do that. In fact, I think I might have mentioned to Craig how to do that 5 years ago. And they said, okay, can you start tomorrow? And that's how I got in.
So when I go in and chomp in the fact that I have, 1912 Opel and I need wheels and tires for it, it's your handiwork that spits out which tires. Bill's giving me a hard time. Or am I giving Bill a hard time? I don't know. But so it's your handiwork that spits out this tire works with this wheel.
More so this wheel works for the car.
Got it. Right. Okay.
So I'm all of the data I collect behind the scenes. I have some real fancy equipment to measure and scan cars. So anything that the wheel has to fit over and inside of, or clearance wise, I scan those bits and pieces of the car. And then I have drawings of the wheels. So I basically built just like I said, a drawing database.
Nice.
That we can do a visual reference check for clearances for wheels to fit on the car.
Who knew?
Yeah. So you're the guy that I call when you decline my order And I tell you over and over again that my buddy's uncle's cousin has this in a 15 by 10 on, or 15 by 12 on his car.
Bob is actually the guy that provides the information to the guy you call. Bob is not talking directly to the end user. He is the puppet master that's directing all of the sales team. This fits, this doesn't fit. He creates the database that has that information.
Yeah.
So that's like Office Space then.
Kind of, yeah.
I don't know. I know Office Space, but I don't get the reference.
The reference? That guy that I would, the engineers don't talk to the customers. The customers don't talk to the engineers.
I'm a people person.
Yeah. Oh, we don't allow him. We don't allow him to talk to people. No.
Exactly. Yeah. Bob is one of the guys that helps make our sales team, have all of the information at their fingertips.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah. So essentially, the data that I generate is, I guess, the backbone of everything that goes on for what the salesmen see on their sales screen and what happens on the internet. All of that keys off of what I do in the background.
Great.
More or less.
And TJ, what do you do?
I am our Tire Information and Testing Manager is my title. So I'm responsible for our testing program. So determining which tires will be tested, what the competitive sets will be. Also myself and I have a right-hand man, basically. We are our test drivers. So all of the test reports that you read is based on our driving, and we're the ones that write those reports. Also, any tire-related information on the Tire Rack website, everything from product descriptions to tech articles to even our print advertising, all of that comes through flows is my direct responsibility.
Awesome. So, how much of your time are you spending behind the wheel? It
varies from week to week. Every week, we test on Monday at the very least, and Monday is all day. So, it's basically 8 hours a day that I spend every Monday. And then sometimes there are other smaller tests that we cram in. Sometimes for bigger tests, it requires multiple days. So anywhere from 25% of my week to, sometimes even 4 out of 5 days of the week, 80% of my week is spent, behind the wheel, on the road, or on the test track.
And
go ahead. So how do you choose the vehicles that you test in? Because obviously you're not going to test some BF Goodrich radial TAs on a Geo Metro. But I mean, where do you get all these cars from? Because you have so many different types of tires designed for different types of vehicles.
Sure. We have a dedicated test fleet, and for anybody that's been paying really close attention, you may have noticed that we just had a shakeup with our test fleet. For, I don't even know, probably 10, 15 years, we've been using BMW 3 or 4 series has been our go-to test platform for cars. And then we were using Porsche Cayennes for a long time for SUVs, but they started running staggered fitments only, and that doesn't work very well for testing because, tire A is available in the front sides, but not the rear. Tire B is available in the rear sides, but not the front. So it really limits what you can test. So then we switched to Audi Q5s, and those were decent test vehicles. They used a good size that you could get a lot of tires in. But the steering feel wasn't great. They didn't communicate incredibly well. They did a good job, but they made our jobs harder than it had to be. So going into this year, we decided, our whole team decided that we wanted to switch it up and wanted to go back to the drawing board. So of course, the vehicles that we selected have to communicate well. It couldn't be, we've never used a front wheel drive car platform because, that adds, it masks too much of what the tire is doing. Same, we've never used an all-wheel drive car platform because that masks too much of what the tire is doing. So it had to be a chassis that that communicates what the tire is doing, that allows us to differentiate between products that in reality might be pretty close together. They also had to use a tire size that we can test a whole wide range, because on our car platform, we test 200 treadwear tires. We test, 400 treadwear, UHP summer, max performance summer. We test Grand Touring all season tires. And so this vehicle had to accept tire sizes that we could get basically everything that we wanted to test in. And so we ended up with Subaru BRZs. We have 4 of those, all identically spec'd with the exception of the color. So they're all the same, except the color that you see in print. And then for our SUV platform, we actually went with a Ford Explorer ST, which the size that it uses is not super common, but we can test truck tires like highway touring tires. We can test crossover tires. We can even get some all-terrain tires in the size that it uses. So it allows us to test a very wide range of products all on one vehicle without having to go out and rent pickup trucks or something like that. Because anytime you're renting or you're borrowing, you're introducing variables. Whereas with us, like I said, all of our vehicles are identically spec'd. They're broken in the same way. They have the same wear, the same mileage. We keep them all as identical as possible.
So I'm guessing that the McLaren Senna and the Lambo SUV were declined by corporate.
As
your first choice.
We tried
really, really hard, and it just didn't happen. Though, to give you an idea of how cool our company is, when the CEO of our company learned that we were thinking about switching up our test fleet, he walks by one day and casually says, those new Supras look really good.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, the size that they use, if you have square fitting on those, the size is like performance tires only. So it would, we wouldn't have been able to test touring tires on it. But we really looked into getting 4 Supras. But unfortunately, that just wasn't in the cards.
So are you testing any competition tires, or are you mostly testing consumer grade, street tires?
We do it all.
Okay.
Historically, kind of the extreme performance summer, as we label it, the 200 treadwear stuff, that has been the most track focus that we've gotten to, because our test track is basically an autocross course. So if you're testing something, like a Hoosier R7, the length of the track, the power of the vehicles, unfortunately makes it really difficult to differentiate between those types of products. But this year, teaser, we've incorporated an actual track test into our test schedule. So we're going up to Gingerman Raceway in South Haven, Michigan, and we'll do an actual track test with the 200 treadwear tires. And I'm trying to sneak in some of the Hoosier and that new, which has been officially announced, so the new Yokohama AO55. We're going to try to compare those products to one another to see, to get people answers for what's the new hot track tire.
Tell us a little bit about the test track setup that you guys have, because and if I'm a Tire Rack sales guy and I just want to sneak out back during lunch, can I go and hit that track for a half a dozen laps?
Unfortunately,
what's the official answer and the unofficial answer? I guess that's the question. What's the secret stealthy answer?
Yeah, I've been there. We didn't get to drive on it though.
Yeah, it's actually the official answer and the unofficial answer, unfortunately, are both the same. It is for official use only.
Wink, wink. I'm winking.
Yeah, no, wink, wink. And on weekends, we have clubs out there, that use it for autocrosses. But during the week, it is, it's kind of off limits to anybody other than us testers.
Yeah, the common misconception is that everybody thinks we drive on that thing all day long. We go out there at lunch and screw around. No. The only time I drive that thing is once a year for a local club event, and that's the only time I'm on it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, which is a shame, because Bob is one of the most talented drivers we have at the Tire Rack, and he spends about the least amount of time on our actual test track.
So is the test track is an autocross course, essentially?
Essentially, it's a purpose-built track. It can be, I mean, it is multi-configurable, which is why the clubs use it. But the layout that we use for our testing is identical every time. You know, it's easy to learn. It is not easy to completely maximize, but you know, our test program started with every one of our sales reps going through and driving our tires and doing our testing. So if it was difficult for the sales team to learn, if they were too focused on trying to figure out which direction they're going, then they're not concentrating on the tires, which is, you know, the key variable, the key takeaway. So because our track is identical every time, because it's pretty easy to learn, you know, I could drive it with my eyes closed basically at this point. And so it's, you know, that the tires are the only variable in the equation. So that's, you know, what is making the differences that we experience.
Okay. So now go ahead.
No, let's go ahead. Go ahead.
So maybe TJ, you can help me out here, since you are Tire Rack, and I'm guessing you have access to pretty much anything in the inventory to go racing with. And you also probably have the ability to get a lot of tires if you would want them. You guys chose to race this weekend on one set of tires on Saturday and one set of tires on Sunday. This goes back to what I asked earlier. Is that because that's the fastest way to do a ChampCar race? Or is there another reason for going in that direction? And when I say fastest, I mean by not changing tires, by not having to heat cycle another set of tires, by not having to go on cold tires after the first stint. Is it really quicker? Is that the fastest methodology to get to the finish line in an endurance race right now?
Well, I would say that with the team that we have, I mean, we have essentially any week, we have 4 or 5 guys on our team. So if we are trying to change fuel and tires at the same time, that is going to definitely slow us down. You know, because as you guys know, you know, the 5-minute mandatory fuel stop, and you can't do any work until the gas cap is back on. We wouldn't have time to change 4 tires after a fuel stop. It would start eating into our time. So
they're getting older, Brian. They're getting way older.
Yeah, we're slow.
10 years ago, they would.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for us, absolutely, we want to use one set of tires that will last us an entire race. And in addition to that, we always have in mind, what if it rains? We don't want to cart around an extra set of rains. We also don't want to, you know, we had a set of extreme contact sports that we lugged around for heaven knows how long, until they're probably, you know, they probably aged out at this point. And our testing revealed that the Potenza RE71S, that new Bridgestone, is arguably the strongest wet tire on the market right now. Now, hydroplaning resistance probably isn't the greatest, but just as far as wet grip goes, it is amazing. And so just this balance of performance that it has between its dry traction, its wet traction, and the fact that it will last us an entire, we usually think about 8-hour races more than the 7 of Autobahn, and that we assume it's going to last us a full 8 hours. You know, just that combination of factors made it a choice for us. And I would like to point out that we do not have access to any tires that the general public doesn't.
Okay. Well, no, all right, I get that.
Yeah, actually, we were 4th or 5th in line or something like that.
Yeah, I had a bunch of tires, a bunch of 245 4017 Potenza RE71Ss on an order for my test program, and they reallocated my test tires to the Tire Rack test, or the Tire Rack vehicle order. Now, admittedly, there were some other tires on my order for my test program, for our test program, that weren't in stock. So the 245 4017s wouldn't have done me any good anyway, because I didn't have a couple other sizes that I needed. But still, you know, they stole some from our test program for our race team. So yeah.
So let's get back to the setup. Now, you talked about air pressures and stuff. earlier. How does one tune a tire? I mean, it's just where you get on the skid pad, you do circles, and then kind of see where how the car is handling, and lower.
This is we don't, to answer your question, no, we don't do that. But I remember the first race we did with the BMW, which was 16, I think, 2016. And, you know, I've been a long time BMW guy, and I said, I'll just set it up just like my own personal track car. I'll set it up just like that. And we ran the Bridgestones. And I think after the first day, it was like, oh, this is not good. The outside third was almost down to we were down to the cords. And then the inside third was brand new. And I'm like, we need more. So every year, or actually it's every race, we kept tweaking the suspension, looking at the way the tires looked at the end, and we tweaked the suspension a little more. And the whole thing was about trying to get the tire wear even.
Wow.
Okay. So I'm not going to divulge any
that's all right.
numbers.
No. Right.
But really, it's
just draw me a picture right here.
Yes, Bill is a visual learner.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, that is the key to it. Is if you are wearing your tire evenly across the face, that means that the contact patch is staying flat with the track surface through turns. And that means you are maximizing the surface area of that tire. You are using everything that tire has to offer. If you're wearing just the outboard quarter, outboard third, or outboard half of the tire more severely, that means in turns that inside half is just along for the ride. You're not using that tire's full capability.
So it's not really R&D; it's more T&E.
Time and energy.
Trial and error.
Huh?
Trial and error. Trial and error.
Yeah. Yes, basically.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say, so for those of us who don't have, you know, the power of Tire Rack behind us, it's pyrometers and checking tread width tread depth after 8 hours in the car, essentially, right?
Actually, for us, it wasn't even that technical. It was, we just look at the tire and say, it doesn't have enough.
Got it.
And then, and I get out, I joke about this. I get out my chalk and strings and I put some more camber in the car, and TJ's seen the garage. And I've never had my car professionally aligned ever. I do it all on my own. Right. I've got a camber gauge. I've got a toe gauge, and I do it all on my own. And I remember the first time, the team, when I said, hey, we need more camber, I'm going to do this. And I just kind of remember the facial expression and the look of doubt on TJ, Chris, and Woody were like, I could kind of tell you guys were like, are you sure? And I'm like, trust me. And I don't remember what race it was. Maybe it was Gingerman the second or third time. And every person that got out of the car was like, I love the way this car handles.
Nice.
Now, the cool thing about Tire Rack, you just don't sell tires and wheels. You sell a lot of other stuff, like car parts and bits and shocks and lug nuts and all kinds of stuff.
So we should mention the other members of the team. So TJ's in the testing program. I'm the product engineer. Chris, he's our basically we say our accessories manager. So everything that is not a tire and not a wheel.
Okay.
So fuzzy dice.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Chrome trim for around the window. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
But like brakes, suspension, wipers, lighting. For some vehicles, we've had tuners and even some exhaust and intakes. That's not really a big part, but they've some have come and gone over the years.
Right.
But that's all Chris or Trent is his Tire Rack thing.
All right. Before we get out, we've talked about.
Wait. We had one more. You got Woody, right?
Oh, Woody. Yes, Woody.
Woody.
What does he do?
He is our vice president of marketing.
Oh, Bill's favorite guy. That's why Bill wanted to make sure we got Woody in.
Yeah, we got to get Woody in there.
I should make a special mention of Woody. He before myself, he was in charge of our test program. He's the one that hired me into the department. He was, my mentor for the entire time I worked in our department until he moved over to the marketing side of the world. He essentially taught me to be a test driver, just kind of taught me everything that I know as far as for my current position. So he was, elbow deep in everything that is tire technical, tire testing, tire everything, before they decided the powers that be decided that, hey, what would be a good person to have in our top marketing position is somebody that knows a whole lot about tires. So he of course is thriving over there as he's thrived in everything he's ever done, basically.
And his wife is the one that I contact to get all the tire rack decals for the front windows that I bug constantly.
Yes.
So.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Angie is in charge of digital media buying or media buying, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a cool title.
Yeah.
And also an SCCA solo national champion.
Oh,
fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
So go ahead.
We have one more member of the team. He was out last year for a bit. He's got busy, had a health issue and stuff, not COVID, but he had something else going on. And that's Max Jones. He's in our e-commerce. So he's like the salesman, but if you place an order online, every online order gets looked at by somebody to make sure you're not putting race tires on a vehicle in the middle of winter in Alaska or something or whichever. Right.
So that's the guy that always call me and tell you those 255s aren't going to fit on your car, Bill. But
That's right. That's right. Yep. Yeah. So, hey, before you mentioned something about crazy setups and brakes and things and people calling me. I should preface that by saying that I do get involved with specialty projects, but you can't call me directly. You basically have to talk to a salesman, and it kind of gets filtered out through the salesman, goes through customer service, and then it sort of comes up through our department, hardware support. And then, like, if you're building a show vehicle for SEMA, or you're a special race team and you want to put, you have a very particular brake, aftermarket brake setup, and you're looking for the widest wheel you can get for this race car over this brake package, that kind of thing. That gets filtered up to my department and eventually lands on my desk. And then I work with them to figure out what you need.
Cool. That's awesome.
So you break out the slide rule and the measuring tape and make sure it all fits?
No, I do have a slide rule. I don't use it though. Definition of geek.
Yes.
But no, actually, I have a rather large collection of brake caliper drawings for almost every aftermarket brake kit you can think of, because over the years now, almost 20 years now for me, we've had just about every request you could dream of. And so every time there's a request for whether it's a Brembo, a Willwood, a Bear brake system, because we sold those too. I have all those brake templates. So you tell me what the brake kit number is and the year, make, model of the car and how big you want to go, and I'll tell you how to make it work. Friday
morning, your inbox is just going to be inundated with Opel PT.
Oh, gosh.
Wait, let me see. I send a note to IT. Need to change my email address.
Right. Or just filter all things Bill Strong to spam.
And Bob, your phone number was 555-1212, right?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So I just had one more question. You guys said that you use one set of tires for an 8-hour race. We've got a 24 coming up. If you guys were doing the 24, what's your suggestion? I know a lot of guys are out there getting ready for these summer 24s. What should people be thinking about as far as, the taking those 200 tread width tires? Can they go 16? Can they go 24 on one set of tires?
Well, wait. So, just a few years ago, a lot of guys, their tire choice was the Dunlop Dureza. And you could go a couple of 24s on those tires. And then also with the differences at the track, so you have a fairly new surface at Nelson Ledges.
Yep.
not super high speed, but high G corners. And then you have VIR, which it's going to rain and be 200 degrees outside. Yeah. So what's the best all-around tire?
So I don't want to get into the big tire debate, but for every team, you have to pick your focus. Yeah, your priorities, your focus.
He wants to say poison. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, we're in a small motor car. Well, new motor now, we got power, but before that, we were struggling. It's a E36 318 that I think the stock weight was 3,000 pounds, and it's 138 horsepower. It's the power to weight's not really great, so we always picked the best tire we could to give us every advantage we could, but we had to make sure it would last the day. So I think the first time we ran Indy, it was so hot. We were very concerned about tire wear. We ran the Hancocks just to make sure that they would last the whole weekend. And they did. And in fact, there are roll-around tires are street tires now, just because we still have them left over.
Yeah.
So it's about priorities. Like, do you want a tire that will last all season? Okay. How competitive do you want to be? It's opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right.
So pick the right tool.
So he didn't give us an answer at all, Bill.
No. Do the tire companies look at endurance racing as a focus, or is it still sort of the autocross and then we take what's left?
Nope. That is actually a question that gets asked of us basically every time a new 200 treadwear tire is in development. The tire manufacturers will come to us and they want to know what is, the breakdown between autocross use and track or endurance use. And unfortunately, nobody really knows the answer to that question. But the tire manufacturers absolutely care about track day enthusiasts and endurance racing. You have companies like Falcon, who have their RT660, a Zenus RT660, which is the pointy end fast tire, but they're still manufacturing the RT615K Plus, which is longer lasting. It doesn't have the same pace, but it is more the endurance racer or track enthusiast type tire. You have Continental that just introduced the Extreme Contact Force, which that is the goal of that tire, is to be an endurance tire. They want to out Hankook the Hankook RX4. They want it to last longer and be faster. So that tire is aimed squarely at our market. Then of course the Hankook itself is the kind of the go-to for anybody that wants to extend their tire budget as much as possible without being completely off the pace. So like Bob said, it's just what are your priorities? What do you want? That new Kumo X to V730 seems to last a long time. The Goodyear Eagle F1 Supercar 3 lasts a long time, and while still being fast. So it's just, do you want one of the really pointy end tires that you might have to replace several times during a 24-hour race? Or maybe do you want something that could last you a full 24 hours and more? And then, of course, there's always the factor of how your vehicle wears tires and how conscientious your drivers are. No matter how good your setup is, no matter how well your tire lasts,
they're looking at you, Bill.
The heck out of the thing.
Yeah. Not me.
I had it no matter what.
Yeah, I had drivers said this tire has a little bounce. I just fixed it, and it comes in with a big hole in it from a flat spot.
All right, guys, this has been great. We appreciate you coming on and sharing some of the expertise and learning about having one of those cool jobs where you get to drive a car every day fast. That's pretty cool.
Not bad. Somebody has to do it though. So
before we go, where's the next outing for the Tire Rack team? Where are you guys going next?
Well, we have a very boring summer, actually.
Okay.
That was Gingerman, wasn't it?
Yep. We're not doing anything until Gingerman. That's the next closest one for us.
Well, we look forward to seeing you there and checking all of that out. And thanks again for taking the time with us. And have a good luck at Gingerman and all the other stuff. Check in with us whenever you want to.
Okay, we'll do. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us.
All right, that is Bob Kobayashi, TJ Campbell, Tire Rack Tire Testers, and ChampCar team. We love having them with us, and we appreciate it. This is Inside ChampCar. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
ChampCar is a podcast that takes a deep dive into all things going on with the ChampCar Endurance Series. Hosted by veteran journalist, radio host, and racer Brian Bielanski and ChampCar's very own Bill Strong, we talk to drivers, team bosses, tech gurus, and series supporters. Episodes air every week in time for you to listen on your way to the track. Inside ChampCar is on the Racing Wire Podcast Network, found on Apple, Spotify, Google, and most popular podcasting apps.
Welcome back to Inside ChampCar. I'm Brian Bielanski. He is
Bill Strong.
And we just got done with the guys from Tire Rack. Wow, what a great conversation.
It just went on and on and on. All they wanted to do was talk about tires, man.
I know. That's a good
thing. I wanted to know all their little secrets.
They weren't sharing.
He would not tell me.
They weren't sharing. So, Carolina Motorsports Park coming up. That's where you're headed right now. By the time people listen to this, you will be there. What
I will be there Thursday. I'll be on my way. I'll be there in the afternoon on Thursday.
Okay.
Right now I'm in Oklahoma, so tomorrow I'll be staying in a hotel right across the street from Barber Motorsports Park, and then I'm on my way to wherever I'm going.
Cool.
CMP.
Anything we need to know about CMP before we get out of this show? Because we went long with the Tire Rack guys.
I know. Just I know that Jackie is our event director for the weekend. She had said something about tech not being exactly where we would normally have it.
Okay.
So just check in before you don't get upset if you get kicked out of an area for where you thought we were doing tech. Just play the game. We'll find a place for you.
All right. Next week, we'll talk about what happened at Carolina Motorsports Park. And we were
maybe.
Yeah, probably. And we'll look ahead at Sebring. That should be a ton of fun. Yep. We'll talk about that next week as well. We will do that coming up next. This is Inside ChampCar. I'm Brian Bielanski. He is Bill Strong. If you like this, click like and subscribe and all that other fun stuff. It would also be great if you would share it on your social media channels. Comment. Good comments only. Yeah, you could leave bad comments, but we're not going to read them anyway. Especially if they're good ones. Keep those comments coming. We have new episodes every week. You're listening to the Racing Wire Podcast Network. This is Inside ChampCar.